Good morning, biology students. So you're going to do an activity today, but first you need to understand a little bit about how we represent genotypes. So a genotype are the genes that you carry for a particular trait. And remember, we said that you have 2 genes for each trait because you got 1 copy from your mom and 1 copy from your dad. So the genotype, though, refers to the genetic makeup of an organism, and in sexually reproducing organisms, that means you have 2 traits for 2 genes for each trait. Locus just refers to the location of the gene. I think we talked a little bit about this last week or Monday. It's been a long 3 days off. Where the phenotype is the physical appearance. So today you are going to actually make a baby in here on paper, and you're going to combine. So in the case of Mendel's peas, one of the crosses we looked at was purple flower color crossed with white flower color. And remember that first generation of flowers ended up being all purple, but then when they were allowed to self-pollinate, suddenly we saw, and this is what it looked like, so that F1 generation, they all were purple. But when they were allowed to self-pollinate, then we got that 3-to-1 ratio of, some of the white popped up again, but 75% were purple and 25% were white. If we actually looked at genotypes, the purple flowers actually were pure for the purple strain. The white flowers, which we're going to represent with a lowercase p because apparently that is the recessive trait. So the white flowers were pure for the white allele. So capital P was purple, lowercase p, I know my writing, the lowercase p is the recessive trait. So what happened here is they must have had 1 copy of that dominant allele and 1 copy of the recessive allele, which was masked. Remember, we talked about Mendel's principle of dominance and recessive. So when they were allowed to self-pollinate, this is sort of what happened. So in this F2 generation, we got some individuals with this genotype, some with this genotype, and also some that are little p, little p. So these are purple, these are also purple, but these guys are white. So for your activity today, you're going to flip a coin, so you can flip a penny, and let's say that heads on your penny is going to mean dominant, and tails is going to represent the recessive trait. So one of you is going to be the mom, one of you is going to be the dad, and you're each going to flip the coin. And so look at your sheets. If the mom and the dad both flip, the penny lands heads up, then this is going to be the genotype of your baby. And we know this because it has at least one of the dominant alleles, this is going to be round. If one mom donates the dominant allele and one mom donates the recessive allele, it is still round. It is going to be the same. Sorry, I'm writing with my mouse, so this is super messy. If, however, both parents donate a copy of the recessive allele, then the baby is going to have I think the first one is, I think it's chin shape, right? And you'll notice that each of the alleles as you go down the list have a different letter. So please don't make them all be R, because they actually are all different letters. So the whole first side of the page is this sort of thing. Some traits, however, are not simply dominant and recessive, and they're more of a blending. So we say incomplete or codominant. It's actually incomplete dominance, but we kind of use codominant interchangeably. So you'll notice when you get down to hair curliness, we have a C1 and a C2 allele. If you have 2 copies of the C1 allele, and I would just make C1 be like the one with the 1 after it be heads and the one with the 2 after it be tails, but you can do whatever. But you'll notice on your reference sheet that if a child has 2 copies of the C1 allele for curly hair, they are going to have very curly hair. If they have 1 copy of the allele for curly hair and 1 for straight hair, then they're going to have wavy hair, which is kind of in between. And then if they have 2 copies of the C2 allele, which is for straight, then they're going to have very straight hair. And so you have several alleles that behave that way, or several genes that behave that way. And then on the very bottom, you have alleles for hair color and eye color that you actually have multiple alleles that influence that trait. So you need to flip for the A allele, and you need to flip for the B allele. And hopefully that helps.